It's also very tight in the SSVs, where Ricardo Romillo picked up his second win of the week. The Spaniard was promoted to first after Sebastian Guayasamín incurred penalties 2 days ago, and with his success today, he's our new overall leader. As Romillo says, if you don't try to win, nothing happens, and he is looking forward to picking up his W2RC winners medal later tonight. It wasn't much better for their teammate Lucas Morais. He stopped at kilometre 80 when he noticed oil leaking from the suspension, and it soon failed altogether. So he and Armand Monleon had to go very slowly on the springs throughout the rest of the special. Over an hour lost, that drops them from 3rd to 6th overall. It was an up and down day for the Toyota Gazoo racing team. Seth Quinteros had some rough early days here, but enjoyed a pretty clear run to come 6th. The young American says he's happy enough with his driving, but the results need to be better. He did enjoy better fortunes though than his teammate Lucas Morais, who lost over an hour due to a misbehaving throttle.
11th and 15th yesterday. Guthrie and Ekstrom were both outside the top 10 again today in 11th and 12th.
Away from the fight for overall honours, several drivers have quietly done a brilliant job this week, none more so than Christian Baumgart. This is his first outing in the SVR Toyota Hilux, which he describes as a beautiful car. And despite battling with the rocks in recent days, the Brazilian is up to 4th place overall. Elsewhere, João Ferreira rounded out his home rally on a high note with the final stage victory. The Portuguese driver was undone by big mechanical trouble on stage 3, but he's shown he can be up there with the fastest guys.
It's nice to close this rally with a victory stage. You need to be fast every single day in the end of the stage to try to fight for a rally.
But overall victory went to Mario Franco, who's kept it nice and steady in his Can-Am Maverick R. The Portuguese driver praising his wingman João Miranda for a great job. Now the first bit of ill fortune in the bid to become the World Rally Raid champion befell Nasser Al-Attiyah. The Qatari had romped to the prologue win yesterday, but ran into trouble after going through a small ditch in first gear. With the front right wheel misbehaving, he and his co-driver Fabien Lequin decided to stop for a closer look. There was a great scrap for today's victory in the Challenger class, with Charles Munster narrowly missing out by just 30 seconds. The man from Luxembourg is pretty new to Rally Raid, but on his first start in a Taurus T3 Max back in July, he won Baja Aragon, so suffice it to say that he is a fast learner. Today though, he was outfoxed by Matthias Ekstrom, a man with no shortage of experience, new Challenger World Champion. The Argentine kept things nice and consistent and joined his co-driver and wife, Valentina Pertigarini, as a W2RC winner. They finished in 2nd place overall. But the day's victory, and a memorable one at that, went to João Ferreira. The Portuguese driver grabbing top spot in the ultimate class for the first time on the W2RC in front of his home fans to boot. He and co-driver Felipe Palmeiro didn't take any risks in the dust and still won by over a minute from Sainz. Jeremías Ferrioli came 2nd and now leads the rally, the Argentine declaring that the Maverick R is made for the desert. Well, you couldn't argue with that today. Victory went to his teammate Chaleco Lopez, the 3-time Dakar winner, seeing off all comers over the sand and climbing back into overall contention.
Yeah.
Seth Quintero's overall hopes were ruined by a freak mechanical on stage 1, but since then, everything's been clicking for the young American. He said he had one job today, to go for it, and with new co-driver Andy Short, who is competing in a T1 Plus for the very first time, he only finished 1 minute and 38 seconds off the pace. Quintero feeling like a new man as we build towards the Dakar. The battle for the World Championship title is going down to the wire. Nasser Al-Attiyah had a strong showing today, handling the big stones and the tough navigation to finish 4th. 20th overall after stage 1, he is now up to 4th and says that every single kilometre will count between now and the finish line.
We are really happy, to
to come back, you know, from where we start and now.
Up in first place, and this was the plan today, Henk Laterken. The South African is still digesting the huge disappointment of falling out of the title race yesterday, and while this was a bit of redemption, it wasn't enough. Laterken already playing the team game on behalf of Marais by taking valuable points away from Nasser.
I think we already helped them out today.
At one point today, it was actually Nasser Al-Attiyah who topped the overall standings, but the World Championship leader incurred a 15-minute penalty for missing a waypoint, and that left Quintero top of the pile. The Qatari now sits down in 15th, so he has some work to do to claw his way back up the leaderboard. But as we know, he's going to give it his all until the very last kilometre. Joao Ferreira stormed through the first part of the stage in his X-Raid Mini, topping the timesheets at the first split and passing Saud Variawa after he punctured. However, the Portuguese driver had to slow down due to a problem with his windscreen wipers and finished. The stage victory went to another Portuguese driver, Mario Franco, who has been improving day by day. He and his co-driver, João Miranda, did a fine job to conquer this tough outing by more than 7 minutes.
Very difficult.
Guillaume de Méliès had a very good day, handling the tricky navigation and rocky sections to post the second fastest time. The Belgian's up to third overall, and that's the position he'll be defending tomorrow, with Seth Quintero and Lucas Morais lurking just a few seconds.
Front, Dania Akil carried a 5-minute lead into the day. All the pressure on her shoulders to hang on to it though, getting the balance between not taking risks but not losing too much time, always difficult to judge.
Dania Akil's been having a solid week in the Challengers, and she went fourth fastest today. The Saudis continuing to learn as she builds towards the ultimate class, and one useful lesson in Morocco has been knowing when to push and when to take it easy. She'll go into the final stage in fourth place overall. It was all about Argentina in the Challengers today, as a couple of home favourites vied for victory. Nicolas Covigliasso spent quite a while trying to get past Marcelo Gastaldi. He then punctured towards the end of the stage, but decided not to stop, so he finished on 3 wheels. Despite all of that, he came second and only dropped 4 minutes, actually gaining some time on the rally leader, Rokas Pachuska. And so to the scrap for overall victory between Yazid Al-Raji and Nasser Al-Attiyah. Al-Raji struggled in the early dunes due to the suspension problems that have been plaguing him since the Dakar. But having lost almost 4.5 minutes by kilometre 113, he limited his losses to just over 3 minutes at the finish line. That meant that he kept hold of the lead by just 13 seconds before tomorrow's final shootout. Secured the World Championship crown in the Challenger class. Pending confirmation of the final FIA results, the Lithuanian now has an unassailable lead. After 2 consecutive titles in the SSVs, Rocket Rokas is a W2RC champion for the 3rd straight year, and he's hungry for more.
It hasn't been a sparkling start for the 2 M Sport 4 T1 Raptors here in Abu Dhabi, Mitch Guthrie and Matthias Ekstrom. Let's go, on board with Ford.
Which left Dania Akil. It has been an incredibly mature drive from the Saudi Arabian, making barely any mistakes and playing a clever strategy. She's rewarded with her first ever top step in a W2RC event.
My first W2RC win feels fantastic. It comes with a lot of intention, a lot of work, a lot of focus and a lot of effort. It doesn't just arrive.
Today saw Luis Cidade become the 4th different Portuguese driver this week to win in the SSV class. Cidade is competing in a South Racing Can-Am, and despite some mechanical woes this week, he got things absolutely spot on today, beating the overall leader, João Diaz, by 1 minute and 16 seconds. The Portuguese domination said it's been brilliant hosting a rally of this magnitude in South Africa, and despite the challenges of navigating with the roadbook rather than GPS and markers, the national star came home in 4th overall. He had to nurse the car back today due to a faulty damper, but certainly lived up to the promise that he showed with victory on the prologue. Well, his loss was obviously his rival's gain, starting with teammate Lucas Morais. The Brazilian had a nice clean stage, setting off in 3rd and finishing in 3rd. Even if the pressure's really on, he didn't push like crazy, especially in the dunes where visibility was poor. But he is up to second place now, both in the rally and the W2RC.